Tweet sent.
All right, and my voice bar is moving, which is great.
Yep.
Gotta. Oh, did you watch the foreplay guys from Barstool play the Bob Does Sports Scramble like against each other?
No, I didn't see it.
Dude, it's a funny thing. But yeah, I played 18 holes today and had beers.
Who'd you play with?
Dude from work.
The guy you ride with?
No, he don't play. No, he lives in Chillicothe. It's Brian Lynch. Just he came up. I was Monday at work. I was like, Thursday looks like a great day. I'm playing golf that day. If you want to take off work with me, I'm playing. So he said, yeah. Oh. I definitely had some good drives, and one of them was on a par 4, and I was 20 yards off the green, off the drive, and then
Man, there's nothing better than just like hammering
Yeah.
a ball off the tee.
yeah,
It is a great feeling.
yep.
You can't hear any of that clicking, can you?
Nah.
No,
Word.
I'm proud of you that you're gonna get that mouse and keyboard and try to game like a real boy.
Hey, I game like a real boy. 1v1 me, dog.
Okay,
It's probably
you get on your mouse and keyboard, and I'll get on mine.
No, you'll get on your controller. We're both going to be out of our element. You'll be a lot easier. Okay, I'll send you one. I got your address.
Yeah.
I did play a little comp with the boys Unknown and Denim
Yeah.
because I outplayed my elo.
Mm-hmm.
So like I bring their elo down.
Mm-hmm.
We I think I took them up like 500 points
Yeah.
in like one night. So Unknown was like floating around like 51, 5200.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I played comp 3 nights and I'm at like 3K or something like that.
Let's see here.
That I freeze up.
Chad, can you move? All right,
Where?
Chad. Yeah, Fox, you froze up.
Oh, just moving. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I need to like shift or
Yeah,
no?
just
Okay,
move.
just make sure the camera wasn't frozen.
Yeah, like Chad wasn't moving, and I know Fox was frozen. Yeah, you're good, Fox.
Oh yeah, no, I was looking at something else.
It does that like every time on like every Thursday, like 10 or 15 minutes in,
Yeah.
like when we hit this little pre-room,
Mm-hmm.
it does that. And then it doesn't do it anymore. So I don't know why, but
Just get stage fright, I guess. So I guess you was able to get a
Wanna
little sneak
just
peek
start.
at what that fusion rifle looks like.
Oh, like
That sidearm.
you talking about the TWAB or something?
Yeah, you can just see what they look like.
I read it. I read it on like the
Oh, you talking
Subreddit
about
or whatever.
the trials armor and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back to monkey.
So like, what's the deal with Titan getting a Ram helmet? I thought
I think it's based off of constellations or not constellations. They've done it before, but it's like monkey, ram, and no, because falcon isn't a thing. Is there a bird?
Yo, this
I don't know.
this was.
I don't know about this warlock armor.
No, yeah, it ain't it. I'm not crazy about any of the armor sets. I know people are going crazy about the hunter helmet, but like,
Yeah, the hunter helmet and then the cape I think has a tail, or the pants has a
Yeah.
tail too.
yeah,
So people are happy to go back to monkey.
Yeah, you look
and
like
that's it.
that little buck from Jumanji.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kinda
yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
look like.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. I forgot.
Well, we're not recording yet, so gonna take another sip of this adult cactus cooler. That's magically delicious.
You know, we'll get into it, but like y'all's theory that it might be a light season or whatever. But like, how could if it's a light season, how come you only have Iron Vano twice?
Yeah, I know. It's odd. The second season is typically fairly heavy.
Yeah.
From what you said, let's get into it in the podcast. let's
the one thing I'll say, the only reason that I'm not 100% convinced that this season's coming in hot and light is because they've been talking on Twitter about like how proud they are and can't wait for people to see the season. So I guess
they've been saying stuff.
Yeah, so I kind of expect it to be like a super cool story, but like maybe the activities you get are whack. That's kind of what I'm expecting.
Okay. Yeah. All depends on the loot grind.
Yeah.
You give me an activity like the corrupted stuff on Splicer, where you can speed run it and get good gear.
With,
honestly, that's all you really need.
2 perks and stuff.
Yeah. But you know, we talked about potentially playing Tarkov. I kind of think that Destiny needs a wipe.
That's what Tarkov does?
Yeah.
It does a full
they do that.
Everything wipe.
Yep. But I guess like my thing with Destiny, like for instance, like the Cataclysmic or whatever, like it's a sweet gun. It's like a sweet linear fusion. It has good perks. But I was like, I already have Reach Regret. So for any damage, like what am I mean, what, like 4 times the charm, Focus Fury that's not gonna outdo triple tap Vorpal or triple tap Firing Line. Like it's just not.
The
not
4
gonna,
times bait and switch will outdo it. But it's not.
Yeah, but then you're like, yeah, I know, but like, it's hard to do like bait and switch whenever you're fighting the ogre in the second encounter of the dungeon, or you know, it's like kind of hard to. That's like a perk that's harder to set up.
It is.
Yep. As opposed to like stand within 10 meters of 2 teammates.
See, so that's the thing. I think it's going to be a great solo perk. Like with the solo to dungeon, bait and switch is going to be great.
Yeah.
That's like you're really starting to like find niche roles for guns to grind for at that point.
But what else do we have to do?
I get it. I completely get it, but yeah. I just think we give all this content away for free every week.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Are we ready to like go live?
Yep.
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hit the button and do the rigmarole. All right, hitting it now. We are live for episode 61 of the Gilded Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, May the 19th of the year 2022. And I am the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, here with my fire team, who all of you all obviously know by now. Jared.
Yeah, you know, coming in here with zero hype for season 17 as what Bungie intends.
And the chronicler himself, Chadocero.
I'm sitting at a solid half a hype, and I hope that Ryan can fill the other half.
And remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Leave us a 5-star review. Type something out. We'll read it on the podcast. We do have good ratings, so obviously we thank you guys for that. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us a bunch of friend requests. The links to those are in the description of this podcast, as well as the YouTube video. DMG brought us the TWAB this week, but you'll hear more about that in about 2 minutes from Jared. In the meantime, listen to the intro music for our podcast from our favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
All right, everyone. This week I bungeed the last TWAB of the season before season 17. And first thing we're hitting on in the TWAB is about the terrorist attack that happened in Buffalo, New York. And Bungie put out their statement about it. And basically the Be Heard pin, which is the Black Up Bungie Inclusion Club, kind of made it and stuff. It's like the front page at the Bungie store. And all the proceeds from it is going to Southern Poverty Law Center, which they go and identify and towards hate in the media and the public, and try to get rid of some of these terrible things that's going on in the world, and that tragedy that happened last weekend. Next, Warlocks have finally won Guardian Games. Hopefully now we can move on to I think the fix was in for the most part for the last 3 years. They made it to where all 3 classes won. And I think it's time to retire Guardian Games. Hopefully, I hope we don't see it again, but it is what it is.
No.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Take your bronze medal like I've had to before.
Wait, no, everybody got a gold medal now. We can move on. We can.
Yeah,
get
everybody's
something
gotten
else.
one.
Listen,
got one.
Guardian Games is a cool idea. It needs refined. Honestly, that's summer content. That's not now content. So we'll save that whenever things get a little slow later this year. But there's something cool here. But I'm disappointed in Bungie specifically with the 10% and the scores and that. So it drove me away. I haven't really touched it much the last 2 weeks. The first week I was playing it, and then once I realized what it was going to be, I was like, nah, this ain't me. This ain't for me.
Yep.
So, like I said, like most Destiny things, it's not right the first time, the second time, or the third time. It's usually the fourth time whenever they kind of piece it all together. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a chance for it to be something cool. Not there yet, though, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the first year, what was it again? It wasn't Solstice. It was like the spring thing. So you had your armor sets, and you could activate a super cooldown on specific things like grenade, melee, and then class abilities. Revelry. Yeah. So
good job, Jared.
If they added those positive things to Guardian Games with like a class only strike playlist, it would split up the population. But if like I'm 3 Titans going in and all of us have increased grenade charge time, that'd be a fun time. You'd go in with your crew, you'd wreck shop as all Titans, all Warlocks, all Hunters, and you get to pick, no, this strike, I'm getting all grenades, or this strike, all my melees are coming back, just instant, back to back to back, just throwing grenades left and right. If they just had like that ability cooldown be like completely reduced in only the strike playlist for the Guardian Games, that'd be a fun time. Like they'd bring back the Revelry stuff into the Guardian games, but just for that playlist, because it ruined PvP. Remember where you'd activate it and get like just
Right.
massive streaks of kills because of
That's
the
how.
grenade and stuff cooldown.
Yeah.
But if it was only active in Guardian games playlist, it's like, bro, that'd be so much fun. It'd be so much fun.
That's how Shifty got his first legend, just spamming skip grenades back then with those hunter arms.
Yeah.
Just a jerk.
That is, yeah, that I wish that Guardian games. So do you know how like for the solstice, formerly known as the Solstice of Heroes, they have like the EAZ, the European Aerial Zone. It would be cool if they had something like that for Guardian games, but it was like in like a Mario Party type of style, to where like you had like mini games that you did, and you were trying to do something to like how fast can you do this strike solo while killing everything, and you can only use like one of these 3 weapon types or 4 weapon types, and it's like timer. So, it would be cool if they made some things like think like trick shots. So like do you remember in Halo Infinite, the new one, like they had the thing to where you could do your sniper rifle, and they would just have like guys running, and like they were kind of like, it's like a mini game, like a sniper mini game.
Yeah.
So bring some of those in, and you have to pick like a class, and then like everything you get on your account goes towards that character class. So even if I'm on a Titan, like if I designate myself as a warlock, then everything goes towards the warlock. I think that would be pretty neat.
I don't feel like I'm competing against other classes. I'm literally just competing against cheese. And at that point, I was just not invested in the Guardian games this time around.
Yep.
All right. Next, we're going to talk about Bungie's marketing strategy for season 17, and this time around, they are basically not giving us any trailers or launching like the seasonal web page or anything like that until like maybe just a few hours before reset on Tuesday. So this is like, I don't know, kind of like the zero hype method that they're testing out, and it's trying to walk the line between just not giving us too much information up front, and then leaves a lot to in-game discovery instead of the many YouTube videos that probably would have been out by now if they released a trailer, breaking down every frame of a trailer, frame by frame, kind of. Maybe could be like accidentally somebody had the new exotic weapon in a screenshot or something like that, and the cat's out of the bag. So
I'm waiting for. I got the Sony page pulled up, and I'm refreshing that every 5 minutes because they're usually the ones that accidentally leak it on the PlayStation Store. So I'm just waiting for that one refresh where it shows something.
That, or there's a YouTube ad that runs like 12 or 13 hours early. It starts running at midnight on Tuesday instead of like 1 p.m. Tuesday or whatever. Yeah, that's usually how we get. It's like a store page. Steam busted the 25th anniversary, if I recall. Yeah. And then Sony did like the Arrivals or one of those. Sony was the culprit. So
yeah.
Our buddies at Microsoft, they don't ever do that. So
yeah. I think that season of Arrivals was done well though, because we already knew what was going to happen slightly. We just didn't know any of the activities or how it was going to go down. So that one was cool to have no knowledge of whatsoever. And then Tuesday morning, 7 a.m., bang, it hits us with a trailer. And we're all like, no way, there's going to be pyramid ships everywhere. And that was a fun time. But like, it only worked because we already knew essentially what was happening.
Sony,
this is literally nothing.
Up
like nothing at all.
Sony did the one with Morozov. The
Lost.
Yeah. Season of the Lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, Go ahead, Jared. I'm sorry.
So here's my question to you two: what do you prefer the Bungie to do, as in giving you information about the next season?
Chad, you go ahead. I'll go last because I'll talk for a while.
That's fair. I'll probably forget what I was gonna say. I see if it's something like Arrivals where we know what's happening, I'm okay with it. Slightly, I'm okay with it fairly well as long as, but like those only happen on like the last season of the year. Arrivals worked because we already had the whole lead up into the season. Lost worked because we had the lead up into the season with Savathun.
And the base bin.
Exactly. But this one's literally nothing. Like there's nothing about it. The only thing is hype from like the people like, oh, we're so excited about season 17. Like like you guys are gonna love it. And we're like, well, what's it about? Like what's even happening? Like we don't know anything. So I'm less hype about it. If like they did like a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday morning like quick trailer just showing like a seasonal activity, and exotic the seasonal exotic. Right, I can see some armor, I can see some weapons. We can like dig through a minute and a half trailer look at those guns. Like that looks like a Hake weapon. That looks like and we can that'll tide us over for like 2-3 days almost of YouTube videos. So like, and even like a Monday morning, like if they do a little bit, but like you can tell they're not gonna do anything until the morning of when they're gonna release a trailer. But like without any knowledge of anything, I have nothing to build hype on, and I have no way to get people to play. I have nothing to say, hey, like play this next season because we got a bunch of stuff. Like, dude, I don't know. It's like, hey, should I buy the next season? I have no clue. Like, I don't know if it's worth it or not. I have no idea.
Yeah. Like, how easy was it to
That's
pitch
not-
the 30th
That's not
anniversary
fair.
pack?
That's not fair. Like there has not been a Destiny season yet that hasn't been worth $10.
True.
Yeah, but people that haven't been playing the game, they haven't come back for a $10 pack since how long? So we don't like.
So why does
I
it
can't
matter
blame it.
that they show us everything in it? Because they've done that.
I'm not saying that it does,
leading
but like
up
I
to
can't
this.
give them a hype train on it. I'd be like, oh, the Witch Queen story is really cool and stuff.
Eh.
And that's it.
So here's the deal. You got two ways to look at this. So the optimist way to look at this is they are so sure of themselves. They're like, we don't even need to show them anything. When they see this, the word of mouth is going to spread and everybody's going to be playing and everybody's going to be talking about it. People are going to come back and, we'll be fine. Now, saying that, if there is one thing that Bungie has done for the last 7 years of Destiny, not even counting the Halo years before that, they can make a hype trailer better than any other company on the face of the planet. How many times have we watched a trailer, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be sweet. And then even if the season sucks, look at like Curse of Osiris, still had a sweet hype trailer. Bungie can produce hype for themselves. So the cynical side of me wants to say they don't have anything to show, that they had to push Witch Queen back, 6 months ish, from September to February, or maybe even October to February. So we'll say 5 months, and then we know that weapon crafting was changed last minute because they kind of admitted it, but all of us that have been like digging through the TWABs for the last 61 episodes knows that what we were told about for weapon crafting and what we got for weapon crafting are not the same thing. So that means to me that there were changes made last minute, or they were over ambitious and had to scrap things and then had to do the easy fix to do it with a plan to over the next year, we'll kind of fix it to how we want it to be. Now we know there's a new subclass coming. They haven't talked about it whatsoever. Last week, Jared dropped the knowledge bomb on everybody that they talked about like the new void, like what was it, like 11 days or something before the release. So we're already well within 11 days before the release of whatever the new one is, which we assume is going to be solar. We don't know that for sure. So either this is going to be the greatest season ever, or it's coming in real hot. And I'm afraid that it's going to be more on the hot side than the really, really good side, just because Witch Queen was really front loaded, and there hasn't been anything for players like us to do for a while. It was made for the people that come in, play 50 or 60 hours, do the campaign, maybe do some leveling, don't ever do the pinnacle grind, maybe run the raid 1 or 2 times, and then they're gone till next year, or maybe pop in here and there. So these seasons are what's supposed to be for players like us. The expansions are for the players like my brother-in-law. So I'm hoping for more in-game stuff. You know, we know we have a dungeon coming, based upon like what we got with deluxe edition. So we'll see. But I'm afraid that I'm always cynical when it comes to Bungie. So I expect the worst and then find myself pleasantly surprised, as opposed to getting my hopes up and then be locked out, play for 3 hours and then be locked out until the next week before I can do anything else.
You know, historically we had Season of the Forge, Season of the Worthy, and Season of Chosen the last 3 years as the seasons after the major expansion. And I'd say all 3 of those was the best, like, straight seasons of the year that they had.
Not Forge.
Really?
The menagerie. Yeah, the
Opulence?
menagerie. Yeah, Opulence season I thought was, because that one you had Opulence, Drifter, and the Black Armory.
Yeah. See, I thought the Armory had the best weapons and the best raid.
I hated that. Yeah, but like, man, that first week, like,
yeah, it's really tough.
I remember that Tuesday, you load in, you find the thing in the northernmost EDZ, and then you can't beat it because you haven't grinded through all the stuff you had done for the last 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to spend like a whole week leveling up, and then you kill waves of guys and throw balls at a stationary object. Like there wasn't like a whole lot to that. And maybe you forgot, but unlocking those forges on all 3 characters was the biggest artificial grind that was ever placed in this game.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, but you look at compared to the other seasons, I enjoyed it. That what happened that calendar year. I mean, Drifter Reckoning. I didn't like grinding out those armor sets.
I like Gambit more than most people. So, like for me, that Black Armory season was the bottom tier.
Okay.
But the Arrivals, that was the Saint 14 season, right? That had the really fun activity.
Oh yeah, Dawn.
Dawn. It was Dawn.
Yep. Yeah, Season of Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so that was a cool season because Saint was back. You had that. There were like 3 different versions of that 6-man activity. If I recall, there were pretty good weapons you could chase after on it. I thought it was probably the best. It was definitely better than the Warmind season that was after it that had like the towers.
Yeah, Worthy was after that.
Yeah, Worthy was ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, Worthy was rough.
It was good because of the Warmind cells, and that was about it.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
That showed the first time they could actually have fun with mods, and I was like, okay, since they can do this, they can actually do something fun.
Yeah. So do you think that we'll get like a new, because you kind of had like your Warmind mods, your Charged with Light mods, your Well mods. Do you think we'll get like a new like mod set this year, or are they just focused
Ooh.
on the subclasses?
I
Because it would start next season, like
yeah.
Tuesday.
I mean, it would make sense to make more well mods for each class, because I think they did add like some well mods, or did they not? I'm trying to remember. They didn't add any mods this season, did they?
It was just
No.
the seasonal
No.
artifact mods.
Yeah, it's just artifact mods. And then okay, so I'm hoping they do something else would be neat. I don't have.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
with the addition of Warmind cells, they really can make whatever. So I have no imagination for this because I haven't thought of it. But it would be cool if they started adding like a new thing.
Yeah, full disclosure, that was a question from the mailbag that we answered early.
Oh well, why would you do
If
that?
we think there'll be new mods, because I just saw it and I was like, man, that's a great question. This would be a good time to do it. So we'll have.
So they
If I think of something, I'll talk about it.
They talked about Coldheart having an iconic trace or whatever that spawns.
Oh, Ionic Trace, yeah.
Ionic trace. So maybe the mods might lean in more to just abilities making stuff happen instead of like your weapons making it happen.
It's really possible.
That's just possible. Yeah. All right. Next up is Destiny events. So Fox already mentioned this. Solstice of Heroes is now just going to be Solstice. And one of the biggest changes you'll see during Solstice is they change the armor experience. Players will now only upgrade one set of Solstice armor throughout the event. And while you can get multiple instances of the helmet, for example, upgrading the armor will allow you to re-roll its stats, and the stat potential of the armor will be shared across these drops. I think that's a positive. I think that's probably the season that most people care about the armor that comes out, seasonal event wise. I know, like, we all vote mech versus monster, and we got the Guardian game jumpsuits and all that stuff. But when it comes to like glowy armor that people care about, that's the one. So it's nice to see that we can actually get good stat rolls on those armor pieces now going forward. And then also in the European area zone, as Fox mentioned just a few minutes ago, there's a new activity called Bonfire Bash, where Guardians will be building and stoking what can only be described as pyrocausal bonfires, while the enemies of Summer, including Taken, Cabal, Hive, and Fallen, will be attempting to crash the party and extinguish the fires. If your mission is to guard the flames from wave after wave of incoming enemies, we've made it easier to transverse the EAZ, adding floating islands and removing building barriers for maximum maneuverability. So, are we finally getting a horde mode for?
It
for
looks like
Solstice?
a pseudo horde mode, which I'm like, cool. I mean, they made ODST and Firefight, which was one of my favorite modes. So hopefully it's similar to that, but they haven't stated anything of like each wave adds new modifiers or anything like that. It'd be easy enough for them to do.
Yeah.
Without knowing anything. Yeah, I don't know anything about game mechanics, so it would be easy. But they have all the stuff from strikes that they can like plop in and then take out and just keep adding.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I'm hoping it feels like a horde mode, because that would be a good change of pace for sure. And increasing maneuverability in that area is needed.
Yeah.
Because traveling through a maze of buildings inside is really annoying. Like I stick to rooftops because it's easy.
Yeah. Especially when you need to get up floors or down floors.
Oh no, it's horrible.
Like in that parking garage, that's the one I think of.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
So we all agree that Gears of War Horde mode is better than Firefight from Halo, right?
Yeah, I think whenever I think of what I want as a continuously getting harder and harder wave after wave enemies, yeah, Gears of War.
I never played it, so I couldn't say.
Oh, you never played the Gears of War Horde mode? So you basically, every time you kill something, you earn money. With
Does
that
it function
money,
like Firefight? Like the Firefight was built on the same premise?
Firefight came after Horde, so
that's what I'm saying. Was Firefight
yeah,
built in the same kind of way?
Yeah, but the main difference is like the money that you earn, you can use that to build fortifications.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
Such as like chain link fence or like razor wire to like put down that slows enemies from being able to get to you. So it's it's and then you can get turrets and you basically spend your money to upgrade your fortifications like a tower defense type deal.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. And it went 1 to 50. It wasn't infinite, but every 10 waves was a boss wave. So but yeah, that would be cool because there's been enough bosses now to where and we have enough locations like raid rooms and those type of things that you could do like 10 waves of ads in the caretaker fight boss room. You know what I mean? Like, so I think there's definitely some things that they could do with that, or like the Shirochi area, you get like 1 floor to use as your, so I think there's stuff they could do to reuse assets that would really help with like, they don't have to create everything brand new other than mechanics. So there's stuff they could do. They should hire us to come out and do it or play test it. So
could you imagine the caretaker? You play Tower of Power, so you fight your way to the top, and then you have to defend it for so long up top.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah,
That'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah. All right. During Solstice, there's something new getting introduced, and for other seasonal events moving forward, and that is called the event card. The event card will have 3 parts: event challenges, event seals and titles, and then unique event rewards. So event challenges is going to be basically the same way seasonal challenges work. They're kind of just, you can easily find them. You can easily check them off and see what you need to do to complete them. Seals would be for the individual event, and then there's a new seal for a multi-event, getting it done like over many seasons. And then also card rewards will also contain the ability to upgrade it by purchasing the upgrade event card for 1,000 silver. And that upgraded card should contain around 3,000 silver worth of cosmetics. And unlocking these cosmetics will cost you event tickets, and these event tickets are obtained from event challenges. So I know a little bit about this because my wife plays Elder Scrolls Online, and this is their exact way they do events. There, you get event tickets to buy event cosmetics that's only available for those week or two. However, what theirs is that you don't have to pay extra for the cosmetics to unlock them and stuff. It's just straight get event tickets. So you can only hold so many, and for some reason you don't use them during that event, you get to keep all your event tickets for the next event that goes on. They won't wipe them away like Bungie's going to do to us. So, we got to ask Silver Fox here. How is he feeling about all this silver talk that's been going on in the TWABs recently?
I'll buy it. I don't care. I don't care to give him money. I get my $100 a year out of the game, and then I spend typically $30 a season, I would say, of silver. Like right now I have 1,000 just sitting because there's nothing that like I'm really looking for. So at the start of like next week, I'll probably do like the $20 pack to put me back to like $3,000 or something, and then I'll use that next season. And so I don't have trouble spending money for silver. This is kind of cool because like it's just cosmetic stuff, right? Like we're still not buying rolls on weapons. We're not buying the ability to re-roll our weapons or so. Until they start doing that, then I'll be like, I'm not sure about this because it kind of takes the integrity out of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
so
I would
right.
I would pay a lot of silver if I can just create my adept palindrome and not have to spend this weekend trying to grind for one. I'll spend a lot of money.
Let's be honest. So if you could choose, so let's say you could choose 2 perks per column, and you have like like whatever the options are, how much would you pay for like like we'll say palindrome, or next season it's the Humba Jumba, like whatever. Then like how much would you pay for to be able to do that for any weapon that you choose?
It's an easy $20. Like I'm not even thinking about it at $20. Like it's
Yeah.
out the door. So at the point that would make me like think about it is when it gets north of 30, approaching on to 50. That's when I'm like, okay. Yeah.
I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I would pay $50 to be able to roll a weapon.
Yeah.
I like a god roll.
Yeah.
Now, where it could get interesting is if you pay $50 and then you unlock every single slot with every single option.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, do you remember those playlist weapons that had like 12 slots per? Yeah. At that point, I'm like $30 and I can just go through and choose whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
Probably if you catch me at the right time.
Yeah.
Especially if that weapon's hot,
Mm-hmm.
I could pay $30 and just have like a clean slate of that gun. I would probably pay $30. But after that, it's like, man, I could buy a whole nother AAA game.
Yeah.
Once you start getting to $40 and $50.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, Chad. How do you feel about these event cards and just more things for you to go check off and say you completed it?
I'm scared. It's too many things for me to check off. I'm already struggling because this season, or not this season, but this event, Guardian Games, it added the whole checklist of medals that you can get in the strike playlist. And I'm like, bro, I can't create streaks when I'm running with a squad that easily. So it's a pain. But whatever. It's just me having a checklist, arbitrary things to do.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the silver thing goes, I know that lots of people are going to be upset of them just creating more things to get. I'm neither here nor there. If it has stuff that I want, I'll get it. If it doesn't, I won't. That's just me. I have no qualm with spending the silver if I really want it.
Yeah.
But that's in the eyes of these people, it's enabling Bungie to see profits and go further into the hole on it. Now having an event card where it kind of, I want to see how organized it is, because if it's organized, it makes things more efficient for me to look at versus going, okay, character menu, go over the triumphs, go over to from the seasonal thing, going over to Guardian Games and drilling in, going to the medals, and now I got to see what I can do. That's a couple of steps. If it's just going in and then going to like the bounty page, okay, like if it's faster, great, makes things easier for me. But we'll see how that goes. Looks from the picture, it looks cool. It looks like a book.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like do you remember when like Spartan Racing League came out, and then it reminded me of those books that you bought.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And I'm like, if it's that, I'm happy with that. Those were neat. I liked those. Yeah. Those put everything in one nice place for each thing, and it was easy.
Yep. So I do want to say, and I know it's kind of like the running joke on this podcast is me not caring to spend silver on things. We are all adults with disposable incomes that so we are fully aware that not everybody is fortunate enough or lucky enough to have the ability to just spend $20 or $30 on that stuff. So I do see the value of, you're talking to a guy that absolutely hates mobile games because they're designed in a way that I would spend money to play Destiny with. Like, I'm the guy that would rather just pay the money up front and unlock the whole game, as opposed to be able to play it for free and then run out of lives and have to wait an hour to play more. So I despise that in other games. So I do not want Destiny to become that.
Okay, so that's it for the events that's going on. So that event card you'll be able to pick up from Eva in the tower. So whenever that comes around, and Solstice is going to happen in July, so there'll be more information come out about it before we dive into that. So we got some patch notes coming out about what's going to happen on Tuesday. I want to just go through the highlights and the biggest things. First off, if your screen is not a 16:9, the title screen should now have an improved look to it. So I don't know if anybody knows, Chad's got a new updated setup, and he's no longer in the 16:9 gang. Next, strange coins from Dares with War Chest.
What is your ratio, Chad?
5120 by 1440. So that's was that 32 by 9? 32 by 9. I think.
I don't know. Why don't we ask Dado? He's the one that teaches math class.
I'll have to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's the resolution. I think it's a 32 by 9.
Next, strange coins from Dares with War Chest is now going to be at 3 instead of 1. So that's the one with Zur and the Star Horse. If it's a lightning round, those chests are still going to remain the same. Next,
remember that time you talked us all into grinding those out so we could get powerful drops? So I ran Dares of Eternity for like a week straight to do that before Witch Queen dropped.
Yeah,
I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thanks for that.
It leveled you up to soft cap.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Then you didn't utilize it correctly.
You didn't do it right then.
It took us we went to 1520 directly from the campaign.
Yeah, but it got you the 1500 faster.
Didn't matter.
I'm just saying. It's optimized.
One of us made it to 1550 on their first character, and the other two of us didn't. So I don't need your lectures on how to do it correctly.
Yeah, that's RNG, my guy.
Yeah. Whatever you say. Who got the raid exotic last week?
Who gets raid exotics within their first 15 tries, no matter what raid it is?
Again, you're talking about RNG, Fox. That's just because how much.
Dude.
That's just how much. Because how much silver you purchase in the game. Your RNGs are there.
RNGs is like, this guy donates. He donates, so he planted a seed.
First of all, it's
and
called
the seed
tithing.
is gonna grow.
It's called tithing.
All right. The cap's going up next season. So soft cap's 1510. Powerful's going to be 1560, and hard cap's going to be 1570. Vault space has increased to 600, so that's 100 more slots to go throw stuff in. It's pretty great. They make him. They say here that the team was able to work some magic. So we all know that the limiting factor is old gen. So whatever they had to do for that.
That magic is 3 gigabytes of RAM on the Xbox One.
Yep.
That's the magic they were able to stretch.
Zur can no longer be held hostage on Tuesday. And then the scoring crossbow snipers damage have been reduced, and the tri-shot projectile spread has been increased. So they should straight up do less damage and not double snipe you at the same time. So that is wonderful to hear. It's probably the most lethal red bars in the game. It's probably that sniper. All right, next up we were talking about diving into the new dungeon, and that will be on Friday, May 27th. So that is the Friday that's after the season starts, and that's going to drop at 10 a.m. Pacific, and that's 1 p.m. best time. And to get it,
But Jared, hold on.
Okay.
We will be live streaming that at twitch.tv/Conqueror's Corner and our YouTube page. It'll be different perspectives from those. Also, we will not be live right at 1 o'clock because I have to work. I assume Chad has to work that Friday as well. So we should be on roughly 9 to 9:30 Eastern that evening, and be ready to roll. And we'll be doing it blind. So after you've watched everybody else do it blind, you can come watch us. Probably struggle just a little bit if I had to guess. Usually we get out of those in under 3 hours. That's kind of been our time on this blind.
So the normal difficulty is going to be at 1550 light level, and then the master difficulty, which is going to launch also on that Friday. We don't know what the light level for that's going to be. At the log in and see. And again, Bungie's being secretive about this for like really no reason. It's really like, who cares if you tell us what it is? Everybody's going to see it when it drops, so you might as well just go ahead and tell us what the light level is.
What would it have to be for us not to be able to do it?
It just depends on how much time we put in saving bounties and like getting a raid clear in, doing
Like 85 or 90?
Yeah. Basically, if we got to 19 under whatever it was, we could do it. But
Yeah,
if it's 20 plus light levels, I'd rather just do it next week or the week
just
after.
wait for the next week. Yeah,
Because I mean, we are people that our time is still precious to us. That we're like, we're full time.
Yeah.
We work full time. We're not wanting to bang our head against the wall for a lot of time,
Right.
or like we have off work all week and power leveling up. So
yeah.
all right, the dungeon is going to bring one armor set. That armor set, if you do the master version, will be the artifice armor, 4 new legendary weapons, 2 legendary reprised weapons, 1 exotic weapon and a catalyst, exotic accessory, a ship or sparrow, and 2 legendary emblems. Usually one of those emblems is reserved for doing it solo flawless, so you probably just get another one for completing it. If you do not own the Witch Queen Deluxe version, so that's whenever you get like basically the whole year of content, you get it. There's a way for you to get play the new dungeons when they come out, and you would need to buy some silver to do so. For 2,000 silver, you can buy the Witch Queen Dungeon Key. So 2 seasons from now, in season 19, there will be another dungeon, and you will get that dungeon too. So basically, $20 for 2 dungeons.
So $10 a dungeon.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yep. And then the deluxe version of the Witch Queen is also going to be 25% off starting next season on any of its platforms, given like basically a quarter of the deluxe edition has passed.
So that'd be what, like 75
60.
bucks?
I think it's 60.
60?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal.
It's not bad.
So I wish that the dungeons were 1,000 silver a piece, or like 1,500 for both or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, it'd be nice if it was like if they took $5 off if you bought them both up front.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
Yeah. My opinion of what Bungie does, I think dungeons are the best thing they do. I like it a little more than raids. Raids requires you getting 5 other people involved, and dungeons are capable of being done solo. And then when you really get good at them, I mean, if you get one more person with you, you can breeze through most of them. So that's why I really enjoy dungeons for that reason. So I think your money would be well spent onto these dungeons if money's tight and you can only get a couple things here and there in Destiny. Next up is a little bit of Trials talk. We all know that Trials will get a new fusion rifle and sidearm next season. With that, there's also going to be a new armor set to earn and chase. And with our armor set, it's also going to be a new Sparrow. That Sparrow's probably going to be in a flawless chest. And that Sparrow looks pretty cool. But I know I'll probably never see it. So, Trials armor. That's not really going to make me want to go play Trials a lot. I know there's people out there that want to do it for transmog or whatever. But it looks cool, but the hunter does have, appears to be some kind of a monkey face and the cloak to be a tail. So I think that's gotten some people excited. And Fox, what's really going on with that warlock?
I don't know. I wish I knew. All that I see is just wings behind the ear. So I just totally perplexed by it myself. Well, it doesn't it doesn't really strike the fear in opponents whenever you see it.
Well, we all know how those warlocks love floofing up in the interior. They'll just stay up there a little bit longer with those wings.
Yeah, that's you're talking a lot of trash for somebody that's not in first place in Guardian games right now. That's all I would say.
Look, Bungie's just pulling that millennial parenting where everybody gets a trophy. So it's exactly what's going on. Just making sure everybody wins.
I just want you to know at reset next week, well, when I get home from work next Tuesday, I'm gonna buy me a bottle like Ace of Spades and shake it up and spray it all over the room here. So I'll get me a bottle of like $5,000 champagne to celebrate with. So my wife will appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. The last thing here for the TWAB is the Gauntlet 2022, and to round out, the Bungie Foundation is for the 8th year in a row participating in the Gauntlet Tabletop Fundraiser. And what this is cultivating head-to-head tabletop tournament full of fun competition, and most importantly, supporting a great cause. These years will help Xeno Math, and their mission is to spark joy and inspire the love of math in the youth of children, families of racial equality, family engagement, and play. All centered on experience in communities of color. So, if you like math, you want other people to enjoy it, if you donate $25, you'll get a Vin's pulsar emblem. Kind of looks a little deep stone cryptish with a couple of the circles, but just a green tint to everything. So you can get into that if you choose. Last thing, in the TWAB, they had a little like how that we had the seasonal artifact, the Synaptic Spear. I think that was pretty cool. If you go watch that, if you choose. And then this weekend is also freelance zone capture trials, if that's what tickle your fancy, and you can go play that. So that is it for the TWAB this week. I know. My hype for next season is definitely lower than what it normally is because not knowing a lot of stuff and that theory crafting, what you want to do going into next season, not knowing which subclass is getting its 3.0, but I'm like 95% sure it's going to be solar. And, well, I guess we'll find out on Tuesday. Chad, what do you got in store for us this week in lore?
Well, let's see here. So last week we talked about my speculation, and I guess thankfully on my end they didn't talk about anything in the season today. But I want to talk a little bit about what, because Ryan's a very conspiracy theoristy, so he throws out a lot of ideas. But he's also a spoiler data mine guy. So he can know the answer, so I'd never know what to say. Well, I think his first idea was Iron Lords, and I'm like, well, Felwinter is related to Rasputin, and they're the part of Season of the Worthy storyline sent us to the moon to show where he was literally incubated, where he was created. So there could be something on the moon with that, which also brings me to Rasputin again. So there could be some stuff there, which would be neat. So it's kind of, it's Rasputin and Iron Lord adjacent. With what happened with Saladin becoming a Valis for Keitel, we could get more information on the Iron Lords and stuff like that. He wanted to get more ideas on Fallen and Black Armory. As far as the Fallen goes, the only real connection that we have for this season to kind of lead into the next season is that they helped create, they helped Anna connect herself, and they helped the Scions create that machine that held the Hive together. So they helped in constructing that, but they aren't really on the forefront of anything. So there's not too much of a connection there. And Black Armory, the last time we talked about Ada, Ada 1 was during the last season where she was in, or season of the Splicer, where she was involved with the Future War Cult in creating the machine with the Vex and everything else. So that's the last time that the Black Armory has ever been involved, and I know that lore wise, I'm sure that she's appalled at to what the Black Arm or the Future War Cult did. And I know that she through all the lore from the gosh, what is it? The transmog stuff. She's switching more to trying to do that stuff versus weapons. So that might be part of the reason there. I had another idea too, because this was such a Cabal heavy season, and Bungie's trying to lead one season into the next and going through with stuff. Keitel has been very much trying to figure out what's going on with her people, and in one of the ghost shells, the one that looks like a scion, it has Saladin actually go and interview, in quotes, interview a Valis. This is before he became an actual part of her war council. He was still an ambassador. So she tasks him to go to this Valis, who was actually in charge of Urix, who, if you remember, Urix is the one that was involved in Season of the Dawn. So that's the one that they took advantage of that whole mechanism in order to do all that nonsense, and they led into the assassination attempt on Zavala, and he goes to question the guy who was in charge of them. So that conversation ends with Saladin saying, "Who do you think could be involved in order to save your honor?" And the Valis actually leans in and says very quietly, "There's only one person who others answer to that isn't Keitel, her father." And so that leads into Callus. Now, the last time we saw Callus was when he got turned into nothingness, quote unquote, by his connection to the darkness through the what was it? Not the Helm of Sorrow, the Crown of Sorrow. His connection with the Crown of Sorrow and the Scions connecting him to it, which is very similar to what the Scions were doing to the Hive this season. They previously did it with the Crown of Sorrow, except there were, I think, 4 of them connecting Callus directly to the crown, inverting its purpose so that he could get closer to the darkness. And he got taken into who knows where. It also pulled the Glykon into a really weird space and then put it back, and everything was changed inside the Glykon, which is when we went to go look at it for the DMT quest. Now, we know that Callus has been in contact with the darkness, or probably the Witness at this point. We also know that the Witness has proteges with Rolk. We know that he takes people under his wing to teach, and he considered Rolk Wrath. So seeing that, it goes into the whole 7 deadly sins ideology there. Callus would make the perfect greed. Easily could be greed. So if we go into a Callus storyline, he would obviously come back. Who knows what form? And hopefully that would mean that we'd get like a Leviathan. And it'd be in a weird shape, similar to the Glykon. Like, having an entire season that is Glykon-like would be amazing to me. Like, super spooky. Like, imagine being in like the Leviathan raid areas and it just being that dark, creepy spookiness with Scorn around. Having like the raid boss areas being like zones for like the 6-man activities. It'd just be really cool. I'd be excited about that. Now there's the coalition shell that you get, the ghost shell, for the end of the seasonal stuff. It has an actual conversation that Keitel has over comms with Zavala and Ikora. So it starts off with Zavala talking. Says, "Empress, welcome. Ikora Ray joins me here. Empress Keitel, my hidden found your missing frigate. Did they? It was abandoned on the dark side of the moon. The Scions who stole it were spotted consorting with loyalists to Callus, and may still have further plans to do so. Defectors. I decreed their freedom, and they use it to drive a blade into my back rather than meet me face to face. Any idea why they'd claim allegiance to your father? I'm concerned Callus is making a play we're missing. Many scions held significant social standing under my father due to their military or intelligence capabilities. Now that all scions are free, some of the old guard feel their status is degraded by comparison. It is a short-sighted perspective, one that leads to dangerous choices. Short-sighted, but persuasive. In my time with Saladin's Iron Lords, we met a good deal of warlords unwilling to join us if it meant stripping themselves of authority. There are always those who value themselves over anything else. Agreed. We saw something similar with Future War Cult and their supporters when the House of Light joined the city. It was disturbing how quickly that kind of mentality can take hold. In any event, we could continue monitoring the situation. I don't want to be caught unawares. The Cabal will withstand losing a handful of cowards. If I learn more about these defectors' motives, I will send word. I expect you will do the same. Indeed. Good fortune in the battles to come, Commander. Vanguard Ray. Transmission terminated. So, from that shell, it's again leading to Callus. It's leading to the defectors, the scions, and to Callus again. So, we have lots of leads going towards that direction. We have leads going towards a Warm Mind direction, but not as much because this is on the seasonal armor stuff. This is the seasonal ghost. So I'd be psyched if Callus came back with some Leviathan assets, and make it spooky like the Glycon, because he would obviously have some kind of power. He has what I'm willing to bet would be control over Scorn, similar to what Rolk has now. He has Taken and Scorn as well. But that's Scorn that he's tested on. So it'll be interesting to see, if that's the case, to see what Callus did, because Callus has a lot of technology too. To see what Callus, because Rolk used the worms to subserviate the Scorn. So it'd be interesting to see what Callus does with his Leviathan to make the Scorn his servants. Because Rolk has the Caretaker. What could Callus do? You know, you imagine the Bathers with a bunch of darkness stuff going on. It'd be wild. I'd be taking Bathers. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, that's what nightmares are made of, actually.
Yeah. I don't need any more Scorn in my life, so I really wouldn't like having the Scorn on the Leviathan. I think I had my good fill of them in the hive.
It could be Taken.
Yeah.
Like Taken Leviathan with Cabal loyalists, obviously.
Yeah.
It would be neat.
It'd be cool to see, like, if they redo that raid, like, the different enemy types you could face in those rooms could be interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even then, you like I said, you could use the raid layers as like quick 6-man activities, just going bang 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 into a boss room, or like the Leviathan zone going bang bang and then into a random room. It'd be like a Menagerie Light kind of. It'd be neat. I'd like that very much.
Jumping on all those platforms in order. Yeah, that would be really fun. Just follow the person in front of you, jumping onto a platform. I love
it. Just don't jump under me. I don't like landing on people.
Yeah, been through that once or twice. All right, it's time for the mailbag. All right, first question here: are you expecting a new mod set this year? So we kind of touched on this earlier. What come to mind to me is that the Onyx Trace that's going to happen with Cold Heart. So I think potentially we're going to have just something new that's going to happen between synergy of weapons and abilities that create something that kind of comes back to you in some way. We got Wells and Orbs of Light, so it's probably going to be spherical in some way. But yeah, maybe it drops a cube to go pick up instead.
Yeah, I don't know what it could be, but I hope there's something. Bungie's kind of knocked it out of the park 2 out of 3 times with the mods that they've introduced, and then like Wells has gotten stronger over time. So hopefully they have something else up their sleeve. They've definitely done it, hit a pretty high batting average with it in the past, in my opinion.
I'm hoping we get something cool like Warmind cells. Like if it is a Rasputin season, an extension of that, or like a change to it, which added like javelins would be neat. Or because they can do that because they did it with obviously javelins.
Mm-hmm.
They have the synaptic spear, which works the same way, and then there's the ice lance for the Titans, so they can make lances do things.
Yeah,
or
that synaptic spear, they kind of talked about it going with the arc, right?
Arc, yeah. Well, I'm saying like just as a spear, like we can, if we brought back the Valkyrie spears or whatever, as like a thing, where it's like grab a Warmind cell, it turns into a spear, and then you can, yeah. Or if it's a Calacy season, like I don't know how, like it would be weird. You could do some kind of Cabal related mods of some kind. I haven't thought of particularly what they would be.
All right, question 2. Do you have all your bounties stacked?
Nope.
No,
almost.
Not yet.
I gotta get decent chunk done. I'm not worried about only keeping 7 of Strike or 7 of Crucible or something like that, because all I do is those powerfuls just have you level off. So I'm just trying to get the 60 bounties and calling it. I don't care how many weeklies it is or like maxing out weeklies. It's just trying to get to 60 because it's gonna be tough to get that season pass up next season, because like the start of the last one, like where you had the Witch Queen to play through and the campaign, you leveled up so much just because there's so much stuff to play in the game that most likely you're not going to be feeling that next season.
Right. Yeah. I think my Warlock's at like 50, and my other characters haven't been touched, but I plan to do that this weekend. Usually getting the planetary bounties, usually in like 2 days, I can get those done fairly quick. So that's my plan for this weekend, actually.
I think I've finished like my Titan stacked. Once I'm done with the event, I'm gonna delete the event stuff and then it's only 3 more bounties, so that's no problem. And then my Hunter's halfway, my Warlock's quarter of the way, but grabbing all like the destination stuff, like the Throne World, the EDZ, Cosmodrome, like in one day you can get like almost 30 bounties done if you're blank.
Yeah.
So my Warlock's basically going to be like a morning of completing all that and then like just grabbing other stuff and being like, that's whatever. But I'll probably start that Saturday, try to get all those bounties done, like a 1-day huge binge, and then just like alternate from my Titan or my Hunter and my Warlock to get the rest cleaned up.
All right, question 3. How important is it to have every exotic unlocked? Okay, so I guess it's combining armor and weapons.
Oh.
If I'm saying that, like, definitely the weapons are probably a little bit more important than the armor, except for just a few meta options. And that changes season to season. Bungie nerf stuff. They bring it up. They put out a Solar 3.0 that might make Starfire Protocol better because you got 2 nades. So, like, it kind of just depends on the meta, if I would say it's that important or not.
Here's what I do. My Warlock, I try to keep like an exotic, maybe not every single exotic armor, but anything that I have like a good roll on, I'll throw in the vault. The other classes, only if it's like one of the meta exotics, I will keep in the vault, because I'm a guy that's juggling pretty near max vault space at all times. So I want to have all of them unlocked. I think right now I never did get the 2 Hunter exotics that came out this season. So those I will grab like whenever I catch a lost sector on the right day for like the armor, like a arm. I think it was a head and arms that the hunter had this season, I want to say.
Yep.
So whenever I just happen to be online and nobody else is on and it's like an easy lost sector, I'll do those. But none of those were life changing. Like the secant exotic was for the warlock this season. That was the one that I tried to make sure I got a good roll on and things. So my advice, if it's your main character, have them all unlocked. Definitely keep some in the vault of your better rolls. Otherwise, on your secondary and your third character, just like on my Titan, I have like Curus of the Falling Star, Armamentarian, Helma Save 14, Syntheseps, Ursa Furiosa, whatever the jump boot exotic is that I can't think of the name of right now. The one that helps you
Lion
jump
Rampants.
better. Lion Rampant. So that's like really the main ones that I have for it. But my Warlock, I have like 15 different exotics ready to roll at any time just to help with the build or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, um, it's hard, like Jared said, because having them all unlocked is the easiest. Just because you don't know what's going to be good, especially weapons wise, and because you're like, Arbalest is great all the time, Yallarhorn's great all the time, but the rest of them is like it comes and goes in waves. Um, but armor's tough because you need to get a good roll on it too, besides unlocking it. So you need to get a specific piece and then get a couple of them with good rolls to make sure you can actually make a decent build out of it if you care that much. But if you're brand new, unlocking any exotics is fine. Hitting Zur every week will help that. But it's not a major priority for new players. Obviously, soloing lost sectors will make it a lot faster because you'll just go through specific slots and just unlock armor very quickly. But it's the weapons come and go because of the seasons and the way they set up. So it's a tough call. Like, it is very important to have them all unlocked, at least as an option, but it's gonna take a good amount of time. And if you want to grind that out, good, go for it. Go for it. You do you.
All right. Question 4. My favorite part of your podcast was always the gambling corner. Will you please bring it back next season? I think the problem we had
Yes.
with that was that we didn't have a good punishment.
Yep. Punishment, and it's hard to keep something going for a whole season, especially like Jared when you went back to work.
Yeah.
To where you had to like start commuting. So it took some of your weekday playtimes down. And then you were playing more on like Friday days and Saturday days when I couldn't play. So there were things that we weren't playing together a lot, other than maybe a raid like 2 or 3 hours here or there. But yeah, we definitely need to bring it back. We need more segments. That's something I feel like we really need to focus on. So we will figure something out. We need to figure out a punishment. I kind of think maybe we do something to where the 2 losers have to buy the winner like a nice bottle of alcohol or something. That like for Chad and Jared we can do Drizzly or something like that. But we'll figure something out to like send a nice bottle of something to the winner. Maybe that's what we do.
All right. Last question. Which weapons do you feel like should be king of DPS? So, a weapon.
Snipers.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like snipers and linears, anything that requires like precision shots in my opinion, should be the kings of DPS.
Yeah, snipers are a definite. Like, there should be the kings for long range deeps on a target. For precision, like if you're hitting precision shots, sniper should be it. I'm fine with linears doing what they're doing now too, because they're the same. They're just they're just charge time snipers. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I want that the snipers back in my hand, especially the I keep wanting to call it Black Hammer. My brain won't switch it.
Whisper
Of the Worm. I want that back in my hands, and I want 6 people to have it, or someone running Divinity, and it shouldn't be Ryan because Ryan's pretty good with Whisper. So
thank you, Chad. Thank you. I'm also really good with Divinity, which hurts. As somebody that's been like the Divinity main, I prefer that over the other term for people like to use for the Divinity guy. I'm pretty good about rotating before my teammates, getting like my well down or my healing rift down, and having the Divinity like with the cage up by the time they get to like the damage plate, like on Caretaker, doing those things, thinking like 1 or 2 seconds ahead with the Divinity as the Divinity person can make a big difference in DPS. And you know, like I do like doing that, but I'm a pretty good sniper shot in PvE. PvP, that's a different story. But PvE, I can put damage out. I'm a good DPS guy. So
yeah, but I still feel like sometimes like explosions, like big explosions, should like do a lot of damage, and like I feel like grenade launchers are just such a bad place right now that I kind of miss like them actually being like really good. When you think about something, just throwing out grenade after grenade should do a lot of damage, and they don't right now. So
like Crown of Sorrow, that was like what I think of as like a good time for grenade launcher damage. And then like obviously Leviathan with like Sins of the Past and those things that had like cluster bomb rockets were also good. But I think that takes us to the end of the mailbag, unless I'm missing something. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Destiny CC Pod. Join our Discord server. If you're looking for a Destiny clan, we want to be your Destiny clan that you join. We're always looking for people like a 6-person for a raid. If that's something you're looking for, we'll be more than happy to take you through raids, dungeons, any of that stuff. That's what we like to do. We're always looking for a reason to run through. I know that we need to do a Divinity run in the next few weeks for some people that have recently joined the clan. If you're looking for a Divinity run, make sure you reach out on Twitter at Destiny CC Pod. Join the Discord server. I'm going to let these other 2 guys sign off.
Yeah, we got rotating raids starting next season. So maybe if there's a raid you haven't done yet and you're needing some help get through it, definitely hit us up.
yeah, and if the new dungeon sparks some dungeon needs in you, I love them. Jared loves them. Ryan is good with them if we're playing as a threesome. So yeah, hit us up for that too, because there's gonna be a new dungeon, and lots of people once they play a dungeon for the first time are like, you know what, I should play the other ones because this was fun. So hit us up for that too.